This right here, this bucket is filled with store-bought compost, and it's absolutely garbage. And it's not just one particular manufacturer of compost that's garbage, it's every available option for store-bought compost. Even if you go to a landscape yard or like one of those big mulch yards and buy compost there, it's all garbage. We've tested it. We've done biological tests on this stuff, and it's all absolutely garbage. The only time I really even use this stuff is if I'm in like a serious pinch and I've ran out of like homemade compost. So what's the alternative? Because you need compost, you have to have compost. The alternative is to make your own compost, and there are fantastically easy ways to do that. Today I'm going to show you guys how to use your chickens to make better compost than anything that's even available at the stores. Now before we get started, I want to remind you guys that if you have any questions about this system at all, this system is called the Chicken Tractor on steroids. If you have any questions about it at all, leave it down below in the comment section with the hashtag permaculture Q&A at the beginning of it, so that way I don't miss it, and I'll answer your questions about the CTOS or Chicken Tractor on steroids. I'll do a full dedicated video to just answering your questions. Also, we have a festival coming up in March. It's the 5-day Sustain Me Festival. They're now selling day passes if you just want to go for a couple of days instead of the whole 5-day thing. Also, that's linked down below, as well as the Midwest Preparedness Project. That's linked down below as well. That's in May, and that is free. That is a free, you're gonna have awesome, Joel Salatin's gonna be there, and it's a free conference. So, can't wait to see you guys there. All the details are linked down below. That said, let's continue on with the video. Now before, when I've shown this system, I've mostly focused on the fact that you can get your chickens off store-bought feed with food scraps and compost. And as you can see right here, they're eating some of the food scraps that I just dumped in there. Others are actually over there on the compost. They're eating stuff as well. This rooster's trying to sneak up on me like I can't see him coming. Look at him. You know, he might not get a name because I don't think he's going to last too long with this aggression. Thankfully, he's not aggressive to the wife or the baby, but he can't stand me. Anyway, today I'm going to focus on the compost manufacturing aspect of this whole system. Look at him, acting like he wasn't about to charge up on me. So this is the chicken coop right here. This whole front door comes off and all of the bedding comes out of it and it goes into this cage. Also, the bedding in here stays here for a week. So the bedding, the material I use for bedding is either straw, hay, leaves, bamboo leaves, whatever carbon source I can get, I throw it in there. I stay away from wood products because right now I want finished compost and not fortified mulch. It stays in here for a week. They poop on it, all that type of stuff. They extract any seeds out of there they want to. And then after a week, it flips into this cage right here. Anytime I give them any kind of feed or food scraps or anything like that, I put it in the top of this cage. So that way, and at the end of every day, anything they didn't eat, I cover up with some, this was a bale of hay, but it's been dissected by the chickens. I just cover up any leftover feed with this carbon right here, especially if you have like a high predator pressure area, or if you live in a high predator pressure area, you want to make sure you cover that up. So stays in there for a week, flips into here, and then after this, it leaves the cage and it never revisits the cage again. And it flips into this pile right here. Now, this is a much bigger pile, but the chickens have scratched it down completely. Like this pile was a little bit bigger than where that pile is right now, but you can see that they've been scratching it down. They've been extracting the microbes and all that type of stuff. This is the second week pile. That cage over there we'll call first week pile. This is second week pile, which then flips into this. This is the third week pile. Now, I haven't flipped it yet, but once I crack this thing open, you're going to notice a massive color change between the second week pile and the third week pile. Now, today is a special event because once I flip this, it's going to turn into the fourth week pile, which is right over here, and I don't have one yet. And that will be almost finished compost. After this point, it will flip out, it'll leave the system, and it'll be finished, ready to use compost. I do kind of want to show you guys how long this whole system takes once you have all of your piles and everything, because that was one of the common questions, and I still have to do this system. So I'll go ahead and start the timer, and I'll flip everything, get everything moved, and we'll see how long this system takes and how much time per week you actually dedicate to making the world's best compost. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's go ahead and hit start. Bam, let's get going. I completely forgot that you were supposed to start with the oldest pile first. I got a little too excited there, so let me start here. Now, one thing I should say, since it's been raining so frequently, I don't really have to water it today. But if it had been drier, more of this this composting time, then I would definitely be spraying this the whole time. But right now, there's definitely no issue with moisture. And on this pile, everything they've scratched out, I'm throwing into the new pile first. So that way it can be in contact with the compost pile. And then the core of this compost, I'll make sure is going to be mostly on the outside. And unlike an 18-day compost pile, this does not need to be anything pretty because they're going to scratch it up. Like as soon as I walk away from this pile, they're gonna start scratching this thing up. This isn't as broken down as much as I would like. So what I'm gonna do is start peeing in a jug. And at the end of every day, I'm gonna start adding it, pouring it into the center of this pile because for some reason, I remember there being an issue with the amount of manure that was on here. I don't remember, but it needs more nitrogen. It's not breaking down as much as I would like. It's still very, very good compost and way better than anything you can buy in the store. If I started using it right now, it's better than anything you can buy in the store. I just flipped this pile right here and the chickens are already coming to investigate the pile. On to the first week pile. And just a time check, we are 17 minutes in. Now it's gonna take you guys a little bit less time because I'm filming at the same time. And this just so happens to be on a concrete pad. By no means do you need to be on a concrete pad. Yeah, I can't wait till spring hits and we can get some real deal like vegetation in here. I'll bag any mowing clippings and I'll use that in here. Any garden waste will go in here. And this is all stuff you can add too. Like, don't be shy, add everything to this compost cage. Jeff Lawton had a saying when I was making compost for him over in Zaytuna Farms in Australia, that he had a saying, because I kept coming up to him and asking him, was like, hey, can I put this in the compost? Can I put this in the compost? And he eventually, I think he very gently got upset with me and was like, dude, if it has lived, it can live again in compost. Meaning, if it's ever lived, throw it in the freaking compost and quit asking me about every single ingredient. And there you go. That is the first week pile. Now I need to put the cage back in place and fill it up with the week-old bedding. Now this has not been rained on, so I will definitely spray this. And this is gonna be a big time consumer right here because I'm by myself. If you can get somebody to help you with this, then this will go 10 times faster whenever you're having to spray water or even flip. If you can get some help while the flipping, then you know, it's just gonna make everything go easier and faster. But especially with the watering, like if you have two people, have one person flip and have one person continuously spray, and that's gonna give you the best results. Now in this, what I used instead of straw was hay. Just give this a nice little spray down, and this is gonna be the biggest time consumer here. Man, this whole time I've been here, somebody been smoking weed the whole time. Not that I have anything against it, it's just the whole time? You've been smoking weed for over 30 minutes? I didn't even think about it, but the person who's smoking weed is probably tripping out the fact that I'm talking and having a full-blown conversation to nobody. That's pretty funny. Now, because this is a compressed bale, I'm gonna go ahead and fluff it up just a little bit, just to help the chickens out, and they'll have to do some less work on that end and everything. All right, that's it. We're done. Oh crap, let me look at the time. Other than putting the door on, 32 minutes and 45 seconds. It's not too bad for the world's best compost, and that's one time a week. All right, so like I said, 32 minutes and 45 seconds, and that's all it took to flip all these piles to basically make the world's best compost. And it's 32 minutes, 45 seconds once per week. and then the chickens do the rest of the work. Now, sometimes whenever they scratch these piles out flat, sometimes in the evening, you'll have to come back through and rake these piles back up into some semblance of a pile. Otherwise, they're just gonna kind of blend. Like this pile right here that they're already destroying is gonna blend in with that 3rd week pile, which is gonna blend in with the 6-week pile, or not 6-week pile, but 2-week pile. So it's a good idea to go ahead and rake them up at the end of every day just to be on the safe side. Also, look at this. This just proves my theory even more that the chicken's favorite pile is this 3rd week pile. 2nd and 3rd week piles are the chicken's favorite. It's like the highest in bacteria, but look at this. They've already knocked off this shelf of compost. I'm gonna have to rake it back up right now. But yeah, this is, you see that one scratching and pecking? Well, until I scared it away. They're finding, we can't see it, but there's bacteria in here. There's nematodes in here. Well, maybe not yet, but there's protozoa in here. These larger microarthropods are in there and they can see them. Now, you might be wondering, like, what if I don't have access or easy access or financial access to straw or hay? Like, what are some alternatives that I can use in this compost pile? Well, dried fallen leaves are free, and if you time it right, people will rake them up for you and put it on the curb. So all you have to do is drive by and pick them up, throw them in the back of your truck or your car or whatever, and then there's your carbon. Like, that's an easy carbon source. Another one is, let's say you mow your lawn, right? You could do one of 2 things. You could mow it and bag it and use it immediately, and that counts as a green, like a green that you can put in your compost. Or you can mow it, maybe bag it, but you can mow it, let it sit out and dry, go over and mow it again into the bagger, and then that counts as your carbon. So there's an alternative there. And then remember, guys, if it has lived, it can live again. You can throw potash in this pile. You can throw like charcoal in this pile. In fact, I'll go throw some charcoal in this pile and turn it into biochar, inoculate that charcoal and turn it into biochar. But you have a ton of options. Also, you might be limited on your physical capabilities. Maybe spending 30 minutes flipping compost 1 day a week is like a little bit too much for you. And I'm not dogging you, I 100% get it. What you could do is just flip one pile, like spread it out through the week. Like, let's say you flip that oldest pile, that 4th week pile first, and that's on a Monday. And then you flip the 2nd week pile on a Tuesday, or the 3rd week pile on a Friday. You can split it up so you're not doing all this flipping all at once. You can do like 1 flip per day per pile. Which could be part of your like morning chores if you wanted to. There's a bunch of different options when it comes to this. It's super modular, so you can adjust it for whatever your needs are or whatever your requirements are. I could increase the amount of compost that they're actually producing here. I can make a bigger cage and do up to 3 cubic yards per compost pile. And any more than that, then I run the risk of like compost fires. I've never witnessed it, but I've seen the aftermath of it, and it's kind of shocking and it ain't pretty. Remember, leave your questions down below if you have any. If you need any permaculture consultations, like you want me to come out to your property and tell you what to do, when to do it, and where to do that, then hit up the email down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.